My name is Morgan Davis, registered dietitian with Wilmington Performance Lab, and today we're doing our first installment of our grocery store mini tours. Today we're going to be talking about meats and protein. So meat, protein, chicken, fish, these can all be really good sources of protein, as well as vitamins and minerals like your B vitamins, iron, magnesium. So we're going to look at some of the best options that you can get in your grocery store. Now when it comes to red meat, the first thing we want to consider is a higher fat option, so we can always look for leaner cuts. The way you can tell if the meat is lean or not is you can literally see the saturated fat on red meats. So when you are choosing red meat and pork, you want to select some that has less fat and cut off any visible fat before you're choosing it. Typically a leaner cut will be a sirloin or a pork loin, something with less marbling. There is the option of grass-fed if you want to pay the extra money. These are usually products that don't have added hormones or antibiotics, and that is a personal preference. They are generally leaner, so it's up to you if you want to spend the extra few bucks on it. And here we are in the poultry section now. Obviously we all know that our chicken breast is going to be one of the leanest options you can get in the grocery store. As far as poultry, your chicken thighs are going to be a little bit more saturated fat. You can usually save a little bit of money if you go for a whole chicken and roast it, but I know when it comes to time at the end of a busy day, chicken breast is usually going to be the way to go. You can easily stick it in a crock pot or something for quick, easy meals. One thing I do want to note about chicken is we always see the organic options. Once again, this is a personal preference. If you want to pay a little bit more for the organic options, you can make sure that your food doesn't have added hormones or antibiotics in it. When you do opt for something like a chicken thigh or a chicken wing, or if you are going to make the whole chicken, then removing the skin is going to be one way to get rid of some of that saturated fat. Another thing to note when it comes to chicken, I always recommend going with the fresh, unfrozen varieties, as opposed to ones that already have seasoning or ones that might have be frozen already, because a lot of times they're going to have added ingredients, salt namely, sometimes sugar, especially in the seasoned one, but also the plain pre-frozen one. So you're best off going with a fresh option and freezing it yourself. When it comes to ground meats, there's a couple of options you can do. It is a simple way to easily get some protein in your dish. Ground chicken and turkey is going to be a little bit leaner. You still can see that some turkey might have up to 9% or even more fat. I always recommend getting at least 90% lean, and if it's turkey, you can find the options that are closer to 98% lean. This is going to be a better choice with less of that saturated fat. With your red meats, you want to go with at least 90% lean beef. Things like sausage and chicken sausage, going to be a little bit more processed, so anytime you can get the least processed meat available, you're going to get a little bit more health benefits from it and less added preservatives. When you are looking for chicken sausage, you can look for an option of nitrate-free to get rid of some of those preservatives. Chicken sausage, turkey sausage, going to be a little bit leaner too, so if you want to include that every once in a while, that's going to be a leaner option than pork sausage, which is much higher in saturated fat. Meat can be a great source of protein on the go if you need a quick snack or you're running out the door. You do have to remember that it is a highly processed source of protein, so you're getting a little added salt and other preservatives than if you got just plain grilled chicken breast. Most brands carry a lower sodium variety, so that's a great thing to opt for if it's something you're eating often. Another thing to consider is the fat content in some of these. So you're going to get a lot leaner if you're going with something like a turkey breast as opposed to something like bologna. So turkey breast, roast beef, and lean ham, lower sodium options are the way to go when you're choosing deli meats. So here we are in the fresh seafood section, and I always recommend getting seafood on your plate at least 2 times a week, so you're getting all the heart healthy and brain healthy benefits of those omega-3 fats. We know that salmon is one of the best sources for omega-3 fats, and when it comes to salmon especially, I want you to look for wild-caught Alaskan varieties. not all fish, we need to be as worried about getting the wild caught versus the farm raised, but there is a big difference in wild caught versus farm raised salmon. You're going to get a lot more omega-3s in the wild caught variety as opposed to the farm raised. But any kind of fish, even if you're not a big fan of salmon, you can get your omega-3 fats from shellfish. You can get them from oysters and mussels this time of year. Tuna, trout are also great sources of omega-3s, or you can check out whatever fresh fish is available where you're at. So frozen seafood, this can be just as good as an option as fresh. Actually, oftentimes in a regular grocery store, the fresh fish at the counter has been pre-frozen. So this can be a great option. Actually, I recommend keeping frozen shrimp, frozen wild-caught salmon in your freezer for a really fast meal when you're limited in time. Once again, doesn't have to be fresh. We saw that frozen is a good option, but so is canned. And it's a great way to get that omega-3 fats. You still want to look for the wild Alaskan salmon when you're choosing salmon. This is a lot cheaper option as well if you're trying to save a few bucks off your food budget. We have canned tuna, and if you're not a big canned fish fan, canned chicken can be quickly added to a salad for some protein, or stirred into a pasta to up the protein value of your meals. They're a great source of vegetarian protein as well as an awesome source of fiber in your diet. We won't see many beans in the first week of your challenge since we're going very, very low carbohydrate, but you'll start seeing them more on weeks 2 through 5 and then in your maintenance lifestyle as well. When you're looking for beans, dried beans are going to be the best as far as low sodium, but we all know that canned beans offer a quick, more convenient option. Most brands have a reduced sodium or no added salt, but if you want to save a little money and the no added salt isn't on sale, you can buy regular beans and simply rinse them off to remove a lot of the sodium, and that way you're introducing a great source of fiber and protein. Another thing I would stay away from is any beans that come in a flavor sauce. You're better off adding a little chili powder, cumin, seasoning the beans on your own so you don't get that whopping amount of sodium that comes with your seasoning.